Now I would like to introduce Miss Susan Brennan. She is the Vice President of Manufacturing at Nissan North America Incorporated. She graduated University of Illinois with a Master's of Bachelorate from Nebraska at Omaha. She has helped with EYH for 5 years, providing advocacy for funding from Nissan, as well as supporting the Nissan employees who mentor. Everybody give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Sierra. So before I get started, I want to make sure that you guys thank your volunteers today. So all of these people have day jobs, and there's a lot going on around this community. So most of them have pretty tiring day jobs and long hours, but helping you prepare for your future is important enough to them to take time out of their life to be mentors and role models for you. So can the volunteers stand up, please? All right, I want to make sure that you take the time to thank these people. And one of the most important things I've done in my career is find people who are great mentors and role models and build a relationship with them. So you're very young and you're starting out, but use today as an opportunity to start connecting with people who can help you define your future. So I'm going to ask you 2 sets of questions. How many of you feel pressure to know exactly what you want to do and know exactly what you're going to study and know exactly where you're going to go to school? Okay, so would anybody expect that a microbiologist would build cars and trucks and run one of the largest vehicle assembly plants in North America and maybe the world? So rule number 1, never, ever, ever, ever let anyone define what you're going to do. But let's talk a little bit about that in a minute, because there are some important things you have to do. You may not need to know exactly what you want to do and where you're going to be. The skills and competencies, though, are the most important thing, and it starts today if you haven't already started studying the STEM field. So, how many of you want to travel the world? All right. How many of you want to do something that's amazing and changes the world? How many of you want to make a lot of money? All right. So let me tell you about my world. So this year, I've been to Japan, and I'm going to Spain in a couple weeks. So because of the choices I've made in my life, I've been able to travel the world. I've been to every continent but Australia and Antarctica. I've done some amazing things. I've met some incredible people. The Nissan Leaf, anybody know what that is? The electric car? So I was responsible for leading the team to getting the American mass production electric vehicle on the streets of the United States in January of this year. So in this year alone, I've traveled the world, and I'm continuing to travel the world, and have been a part of a team that's implemented a disruptive technology that I'm confident will change the world and change how we move from place to place. How many of you would like to have a free car? So that's one of the benefits, okay? I work a lot of hours, but that's my favorite benefit, that and a parking space. You'll find as you get older, having a parking space close to your work, that's one of the coolest benefits you can get. All right, so how did I get here from where I am, and why is it important to you to know my story? So my story is I got a technical degree. Whether you want a degree in math, science, engineering, whatever, the degree that I have today, I wanted to be a genetic engineer. My dad died at 29 from a congenital heart defect. So if you know what that means, it means it's genetic, right? So his chances of living were not very good because of something in his DNA. And I wanted to study that and understand it. Today, what killed him wouldn't have killed him today, because some smart person has identified lots and lots of drugs and therapies now that help people work through these kind of things. So that was my passion. So connect with your passion and your motivation, whatever it is. But get a technical degree. Figure out somehow, I'll use my daughter as an example. She's 10 and she wants to be an artist, and that's fine with me. I want her to connect with her passion, but I want her to get a technical degree. And whether that's textile engineering or Dr. Judith, who's one of your leaders of this today, has connected her with the Sharpie chemist. I don't know if you know that most of the Sharpies are made in Tennessee. And in order to make a Sharpie colors, you have to be a chemist. How cool is that? You know, she introduced herself as someone who gets to color all day. So there are great, great jobs. You don't have to know exactly what you want to do, but pick something technical. Coming to MTSU is obviously a great opportunity. If you live nearby, it's right here in your backyard. I went to University of Illinois. I'm from Illinois. Going to a state school has paid off very, very well for me. If you pick the right state school and you pick the right competency, it can all work out very, very well. So just a couple of messages that I want to leave you with today. Again, this is my experience. Don't let anyone define who you are or what you want to do or your passion or put pressure on you that isn't necessarily, I would say, look again at, going to college, that's good pressure. If someone isn't putting pressure on you today to go to college, whether it's a 2-year technical degree or a 4-year degree, that's one pressure you should put on yourself. And if someone isn't putting that on you, make sure you're putting that on yourself. But outside of that, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do. But if you get a technical degree, all I can tell you is the opportunities are endless. The things that I have done in my life when I was your age, I grew up in a town called Granite City, Illinois, across the river from St. Louis. If I got to go to the St. Louis Zoo, that was a good day. It was free, and it was across the river. And that was like my world. And all I could think was, someday I'm going to get out of this world, but I didn't know exactly how. But I can guarantee you that the technical competencies and the things that I studied and the degree I got have opened up an entire world for me that I never, ever, ever thought would be in front of me. So if I can just leave you with those 2 messages, follow your passion. I guess 3 messages. Follow your passion, get a degree, and then get a technical degree. And if you want to do something after that, that's great. But as your foundation, get some form of technical degree. And of course, the last thing, have fun today. Thank you very much for listening.
Wasn't she wonderful? That's what I thought too. Now I would like to introduce our provost, Dr. Bartell. He earned his bachelor degree from Brooklyn College in 1970 and his PhD from the University of Missouri in 1974. Both degrees were in anthropology. An archaeologist specializing in studies of colonialism, mortuary science, and early human symbolism. Dr. Bartell has conducted field research in Yugoslavia, Turkey, Ireland, and the United States. In 2004, he became the president of Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. Fort Lewis College is designated Public Liberal Arts College of Colorado and the national leader in Native American undergraduate education, with students from more than 125 different Native American tribes in attendance. He joined the MTSU family in 2010 as University Provost.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Great to have you with us. I'm the last person to speak between you sitting here and having fun today, so I'm going to be real quick, okay? One more? We got one more? Oh, I can slow down then. I'm sorry. But I want to welcome all you young ladies to MTSU. First, I want to thank our sponsors, in particular Nissan. They've been a great partner with us. In fact, this semester, for the first time, we are partnering with Nissan on a new degree program here, which is a bachelor's degree in mechatronics engineering, which is all about robots. And it's an amazing degree. It's one of the first degrees of its kind in the United States, and we're so happy to have Nissan as our partner in this very, very important degree. As these great ambassadors of this university has already told you, for over 100 years, this university has been dedicated to women and women in science. And we are so proud that you are here. And as you have already heard, we have brand new buildings being constructed right now that are going to have the finest facilities in the whole United States for science. So when you're ready and you come back, you're going to have a great opportunity to realize all your dreams at MTSU. For me, as you've already heard when I was introduced, I'm an archaeologist. You all know what archaeology is? Right? You've all seen the Indiana Jones movies and stuff like that. And I fell in love with archaeology very early on. And that's what I did straight on from when I went to college and beyond. I love it. And I'm very proud to say that in archaeology, over half of the professional archaeologists in the world are women. And I don't think there's any other science that can really say that. And we are proud of that. And this university is dedicated to making sure that your dreams are fulfilled. So I want you all to get excited about what you want to study. I want you to delve in deeply into it. You can make an extraordinary difference in the world. And so we're here to start that dream for you. And again, I want you all to know that MTSU is always your home. You can come back anytime to any kind of an event, and we welcome all of you here at MTSU all the time. So have a great time with us today. Learn, get excited, get passionate about something in the STEM fields. Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce Miss Emma, who is returning for her 3rd year of EYH here, and her sister, Leah.
I'll be introducing Kate Colson. Kate Colson is the marketing manager for Health Tech in Nashville. She is originally from California, and all her family is still in California. She recently got married to Michael, who also works in technology. The thing she likes to do in her spare time is take her dog Lucy on walks and take her to the dog park. She graduated from the University of Notre Dame with a degree in Bachelor Arts. It is my pleasure to introduce Kate Colson.
Emma has been so great. Just thank you, Emma, for introducing me. Did you need to say something too? Oh, okay, good. She did such a good introduction. I just walked in. Sarah's standing here like she's gonna introduce me again too. That's great. I love it. Gosh, welcome everybody. And sorry, one more quick talk before you get to go do the fun stuff, but hopefully you think that my story is fun. My name is Kate Colson, like Emma said. And also, I know that you guys might get tired of this, but it really does take a lot to get this off the ground. And so thanking our sponsors and thanking our volunteers to have college volunteers here at 7 a.m. this morning is a big deal. It's even a bigger deal, I think, to get junior high and high school kids here early, too. I think you guys are all rock stars. I woke up early this morning, and I know you're going to have a really good day. I'm going to steal this little corner here. Emma was a lot more technology advanced than I was. She did everything on her iPod. I am a little bit older, and so I still sometimes like to use paper. So bear with me as I continue on through my little talk. Like I said, we're going to talk about being curious. But before we do that, I want to encourage you. I know that there's a sign, and one of the things that we're going to be encouraging you to do, or at least hopefully my talk will do, is to break some rules. So for this talk only, if you have a smartphone, turn it on. If you tweet, or if you use Facebook or Instagram, let's get social. You guys might be too young for LinkedIn, but for the adults and the college kids that are here, connect with me. I work for an organization, actually I volunteer for an organization called Women in Technology Tennessee, and I also get the opportunity to work with Judith a lot. And we have money to give away for scholarships. So we're always looking for women who are interested in technology degrees that want money. You want to know who I am, so you can follow me on Twitter at Marcated. And if you are a tweeter, let's use the hashtag EYH 2013 MTSU, and let's see if we can get a trend going, if people know what that's all about. So let's break the rules. Sorry, whoever put the rule up that there's no phones, but for right now.
I'll let it slide this time.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Excellent. Okay.
Tweeted.
Awesome. So curious. Why is curious the kind of the main topic of my talk? What does it mean, and why do I like that word and that trait so much? Curious means a couple of different things, but the definition that I like the best is eager to know or to learn something. I've found in my life that when I'm curious about something and I learn more about something, I discover more than I could ever imagine. And today you're going to be working on expanding your horizons, learning about all the things that you can use with science, technology, engineering, and math to make your life dreams, your work dreams, everything, all that you could possibly imagine, or even beyond what you could imagine today. And that's why I want to encourage you to be curious about what you do. So I had a little bit of an inauspicious beginning. That's me on the right, and that's my little sister, Amy. And in between us is the turkey that we ate in 1990. We obviously didn't mind getting dirty. For those of you who might be offended by this picture, I apologize. I was a vegan until probably my early 20s from the experiences of growing up on a farm like this. How many people know what living off of the grid means? Okay. Yeah, not too many of you. So this was a picture that I got off of Google today. I grew up in an area right outside of San Diego. That little red dot is where my house was. No electricity, no roads, dirt roads. I had the advantage of getting to walk uphill both ways to get to the bus at 6 a.m. No joke. Because you had to like walk downhill around the lake and then uphill, downhill around the lake and uphill. And I was in these small little mountains that surround San Diego, California. How many people know where San Diego, California is? Cool. How many people knew that you could live there without electricity? Yeah. Most people think I'm crazy. So I didn't have a lot of technology. We were really excited to have a telephone. So yeah, I get a lot of questions like, well, how did you have a refrigerator? Well, for a while we didn't. But then if you've ever camped or camped in a camper, we use something called propane gas to have our refrigerator. We also use propane gas for our stove. We actually use kerosene lanterns. All of these things are technology. They're just a little bit old in technology. And considering I was in school at a time where, starting from kindergarten, we were on a computer, it was kind of a big difference to go from school to a home where you couldn't turn the lights on. You might have thought my parents were crazy. They might be a little bit, considering I think so. But at the same time, my mom's a teacher and my dad's an attorney, so they're not so crazy that they thought it was a good idea to live off the grid. It was just something that kind of happened. And my mom is a very brilliant woman who had 3 girls. I'm the middle of 3 women, 3 girls. And she kept saying to us, you can be anything you want to be. You've heard this today how many times? Probably, 6? At least. You can be anything you want to be. And I heard that growing up also. But one of the things that I forgot or somehow got lost in the translation was you got to dream it. You got to dream big. Not only can you do what you want to, you can do anything you want to be, but you have to kind of purposefully get there and be curious about the things that you want to do as you move into your future. So my mom ended up getting multiple degrees. She was a teacher for almost 40 years and taught a lot of different things. But she never really stressed science, technology, engineering, and math. Emma did mention in my introduction, which was really sweet, that I got married in May. And along when you get married comes another family, which is also fun. And so this is my mother-in-law, Sandy Colson, and she was really sad she couldn't be here today. And one of the reasons I wanted to share her story is because she has some of the gumption. She breaks some of the rules. Again, I was not a rule breaker growing up. That's why I feel kind of bad about breaking the rule about phones today. I'm still guilty, Sierra.
I forgive you.
Sandy she went to college, and she couldn't decide what she wanted to major in. She wanted to major in either chemistry or math. And her counselor at the time, remember this was a long time ago, said, well, you can't do either because those are too hard for girls. So she said, I'm going to show him. And she majored in chemistry. And she double majored in math. And she is now a chemistry teacher for both high school and for, she has her master's degree, so she also teaches at a junior college or a community college, and she loves it. It's really fun. How many people here, it might be a little old for you guys, how many people watch Breaking Bad? It's really fun to watch it with a chemistry person. Tell you what, it's really fun. So curious goes a little bit more, and I wanted to talk about some of the synonyms because I really like one of the words there, and that is agog. What in the heck does agog mean? It means super duper curious. At least that's my definition. So curiosity is a big driver for me when I'm looking at somebody who wants a job. And I say to them, tell me, and especially if they want a technology job, how many people have taken apart the family computer? You don't want to break those rules, right? Good job. I like you rule breakers. It's awesome. How many people have a lab at home that they can, or even a network that they can connect to? Wireless network or otherwise. How many people are in charge of that for their home because their parents aren't totally cool about doing it? Yeah. I'm always looking for people who want to take that and take it to the next level and are curious about how it works and why it works that way, because you're going to do great things at the job that I hire you to do because you're always looking for that next thing. So I want to encourage you to keep thinking and keep looking. So how is a person who's in marketing a good technology person? Well, I like research. I'm one of those people that loved getting lost in the library, loved getting lost in books. And I know that's kind of not technology, but actually there's a lot of technology that happens at a library. I used to actually, you probably don't even know what microfiche are, but I used to file microfiche at the library. How many people remember microfiche? Yeah. Did you know that there's somebody that files those? Aren't we happy that there's computers and the internet now so that your job at college is not filing microfiche? But the biggest thing is that I was curious about people and their habits. So I was a history and sociology major, but I was really curious about people and their habits, and I wanted to know, why do people do what they do? But I didn't take the time to really figure out what that meant for a job. I wasn't curious. I wasn't taking opportunities like EYH, like volunteering as a college student for EYH and getting to hear other people talk about their career paths. And so I just knew I liked to know what people did. Why do people do what they do? It's kind of a cool question, and you can keep asking yourself that. And there's a lot of money in finding out why people do what they do. So I graduated from college not really knowing what I wanted to do, and I had been told my whole life, you can do anything you want. Women are doing great things. And I got my first job, and I realized we get paid, this is today, guys, we get paid, women do, 77 cents to the male dollar. And there is a ton of women in this room, a ton of companies that are working hard so that that is not a case when you go to work. We want you guys to earn the same amount for the same work, and we are working hard to make that happen. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. So that when you guys get your jobs, your first jobs, you don't look around and say, I can't believe that that dude is making more than me. That's no good. So marketing. I kind of on accident got involved with marketing because of a couple things. I got to do some research. I designed logos. How many people in here like art? Yeah. I get to color all day long with art. I get to communicate with people. I get to help sell things. I get to create presentations like this one and go talk to people. And I get to determine why people buy things, really why people do what they do. I get to determine why people do what they do. So that's something I've been wanting to do all along. But you might still say, Kate, technology and marketing, really? These are all of the companies that currently are technology companies for marketing jobs. I work with those companies. So how many people think that's more than they thought? Yeah, that's right. So I just work with that small piece. So in terms of job stability, I've got a lot. I've got a lot more to learn. So examples of technology in marketing, it's been around for a long time. Who here has a television, radio, etc.? Who goes on websites? That's all technology, and that's all things that I get to work with every day. And people don't necessarily think, hey, I get to do art, and I might need to pursue a technology degree as well. So it's pretty cool wanting to broaden your horizons of what kind of jobs you can do when you major in a technology field, or even like me, in a liberal arts field, but still want to use technology in your job. So here's a cool thing. And now this was normalized over a lot of data, so you kind of have to bear this in mind. It was normalized for education, time at work, or time within a career, etc. But DICE, which is a 22-year-old website that is helping people get technology jobs, has found that women in technology have blasted through that when everything's normalized. Now, that's kind of a big deal there. When everything's normalized, we are making the same amount as men. So that's kind of a cool statistic. If you have a job that you pursue from a technology perspective, like I have in marketing, your skills make you compete on the same level with men. Again, technology is everywhere. You're using it. How many people have their iPhone using it now, tweeting about what I'm saying? Good job. How many have it in their bag and are like, Kate, I don't tweet. That's old people do that. Okay, that's fine. We're trying to keep up with you guys. The business world is one step behind. Gamification is a new thing that's really big in marketing, and that is giving you points and things like that for engaging with our website or with our applications. I know a lot of people in this room. I know I have been affected. I know people if it either been affected or know somebody that's been affected with the downturn in jobs that we've had over the past couple of years. And one of the things that I want to point out is if you have a high-tech job, if you're looking at this trend here, your job is more stable. You have less of a chance of losing your job if you have a technical skill. The jobs are everywhere. Dean Fisher and I were talking about this. Nashville and Tennessee are desperate for people like you to graduate and to stay here and to get these jobs. And we specifically want women. We specifically want women because we need diversity. We need diversity in the workplace. We need you to come with these great ideas that you get from growing up as a woman here in Tennessee. One of the things that's really important to note here, and I got this, all of this is available for any teachers or anybody else that might want this deck. I've got all the research here as a link. But right now there's 477,000 open high-tech positions in the Southeast. That's the biggest within the nation. So going to school at MTSU, graduating with any kind of STEM degree, you're going to have a job, and they want you. They want your skills. So we already talked about women getting paid when the data is normalized. When the data is not normalized, we still, I'll make it bigger for you, make more comparatively to men. The top three, so three of the positions that are top earning for women are in technology. So we talked about making a lot of money when you get out of school so you can maybe pay those student loans back. You can do that when you get your STEM degree. Also, you start out at a higher pay and you have better job growth opportunities. This is all factual data that you can find. I Googled it, used technology to find it. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of things today. Be curious. You're here. That means you have some questions, or at least somebody's motivated you to get up very, very early and to come listen to us talk and get you excited about STEM and jobs in STEM. DigiGirls is another great opportunity that I know that is throughout the state of Tennessee. It's sponsored by Microsoft. We need women coders, people who are excited about developing the next Facebook. Take advantage of computer class opportunities and ask questions. In fact, I'm hoping that some of you have some questions for me after this speech. How many people have questions? All right, good. Keep them, keep them, keep them. Next thing, know your stuff. Education is so important. You know, people are worried about that student loan or not being able to afford it or having to work so hard in order to get that degree and to pay for it. There is money out there for you to get scholarships for. And not only that, but that's a good debt to have. And when you have a technology degree or an engineering degree or a math degree or a science degree, you can pay it back easier and faster. Play with technology. Don't be afraid to break those kinds of rules. Always be knowing what rules are okay to break. One of the things that is important to kind of know is women are getting more involved with STEM. In fact, I think Dean Pfister said that over 60% of the applied sciences and physical sciences here at MTSU are women. That's awesome. Currently, only 19% of high school girls are taking AP classes in computer science. We need more of you to get excited about that AP class. 18% of all undergraduate and computer and information science degrees are going to women. We need more people to get excited about that technology. Be smart. You know, back when I was a kid, if I posted something, it was on a door. It wasn't for the world to see. Be careful because right now, employers do look at your Facebook. they do look at your digital footprint to see what kind of person you are. If you're going to be posting something, just make sure that when you're 25 and looking for your job, you wouldn't mind having that out there. So just be real careful about that. Also, dream real big. That's something that nobody really said for me to do. So be curious, dream big, and you are going to have an amazing life. Keep doing things like EYH. All right. Thank you. Okay, so I saw some hands with questions.
I know I have one,
Okay, you want to get it going?
but I can't seem to find it.
Oh,
Wait a minute. I remember where I put it.
on your
My
phone?
friend over here is holding it for me.
Oh, okay, great.
How much math did you study to be successful in your career in technology and marketing?
That is a great question. I took advantage of math in high school, so I had to go to summer school. My junior high didn't allow me to take pre-calculus, so I took that in summer school, and then was able to take the AP exam in high school. And then I continued on. In order to transfer to Notre Dame, I graduated from Notre Dame, but I was actually a transfer there. I had to take 2 semesters of college calculus. So from an applied mathematics, college calculus is what I did, but then there's a lot of statistical classes that I took in order to understand how to analyze data. So it's not necessarily math, it's more statistics in a sociological kind of way, but a lot of math. I love it. That's a great question. You know, like I said, I wasn't as purposeful as I thought it was. I really like to draw and to paint, but I also like logic. So working within a marketing field is something that I didn't even know existed when I was your age. But when I got my degree, and I received my degree and I started working, I said, that's what I want to do. So it took me a little bit longer than I think most people to know I wanted to be a marketer, because I didn't know that that job could combine all the things that I like to do. Sure. Marketing could help with teaching in a lot of different ways, because really, keep in mind, I was a history and sociology major. So marketing is something that's more of a business kind of thing. So from business classes, sociology classes, knowing why people move different places, you know, all of that is marketing. I would suggest that if you wanted to be a teacher, you would kind of focus in some of those demographic, if you know what that means, demographic areas, because the demographics is understanding why people live in different areas and maybe why they move from different areas, and that's really interesting to me. I'm probably interesting to Dr. Barford, who is here as an anthropologist. Probably studied that a lot too.
Have one?
Okay, so I'm not 105% sure of this, but what kind of jobs would international business offer?
So many. So international business is the ability to understand the markets in different countries. And as everybody's probably aware of now, our economy is so dependent on everybody else. I'm sure this is something, again, I wasn't totally aware of when I was your age, so the fact that you're asking this question is huge. International markets and understanding, again, why people do what they do is important. And so there's tons of jobs. There's international marketing positions. There's a lot of travel opportunities. Learning different languages is always great. So it's so broad that you could really do whatever you wanted to do with an international business degree. These are great questions.
How much work does it take to be successful?
Gosh, that's a great question. This is something, actually, my husband's here today. I don't know if he wants to raise his hand or stay anonymous in the background. We just got married in May, so it's kind of new and fun. Yeah, thank you. We talk about this a lot because we think that the reason we have been successful is because we're hard workers. And that's different for every single person. Finding a job that you like to do or a passion about, that you get excited about going to every day is really important. But at the same time, going through school and working hard through school, super duper important. So it depends. What does hard work mean for you, and how's that different than what hard work means for me? Finding a passion and pursuing it is something that all of you can do easily.
Who offered you your job, and how many years of college did you have to take?
That's a great question, too. So I only have 4 years of college. I have my Bachelor's of Arts in History and Sociology. And the job that I'm working at right now was offered to me by what they call a Chief Marketing Officer, who reports directly to a CEO. So we're a billion-dollar company here in, I guess we're not that big yet, but in Nashville. We sell software to hospitals. And I knew that I wanted to stay in Nashville, and so I wanted to get involved with healthcare technology. And so I applied and interviewed with the Chief Marketing Officer, and she's the one that gave me the job.
How did you decide what you wanted to do?
Yeah, and that was a question that came up before. I wasn't as purposeful. When I decided that I wanted to be in healthcare technology, it was because my husband and I had decided that we really liked Nashville. He had a great job here in Nashville, and healthcare is a great industry to be involved with here. We have some really big companies that have a lot of job opportunities, and so that's why I specifically went after that job in healthcare IT. Any other questions? I think you guys are oh, okay. Yep. Uh-huh. I have not worked with it to design logos, but at the same time, that is awesome to play and design things on a computer. That is how everything's designed nowadays. So I play with something called Adobe Master Suite a little bit, but again, that wasn't the area that I'm specialized in. I'm specialized in what they call marketing automation, so developing really algebraic equations to deduce data to then haunt people with email. So I work with a lot of different software companies. The company that I work for is a software company. So we develop something called healthcare management systems. And so we are an EMR system for large hospitals. And we also have a company called MedHost that does what they call emergency department information systems, as well as perioperative information management systems. So the other day I got to go to Vanderbilt, dress up in scrubs, and watch surgeries. And I'm a marketing person. That was part of my job. How cool is that? Didn't actually have to go to school for 8 years and got to wear the scrubs. It was awesome. So that's what we sell, but then we also, I work with what they call SaaS or cloud computing. So Salesforce and Marketo are the two softwares I work in a lot. Okay.
Was there someone who inspired you or encouraged you to do what you do?
Yes, always, and that's so important. Thank you for asking that question. There's actually a lot of different people that have inspired me, especially lately, and I don't want to put her on the spot, but Dr. Judith Iretti-Gross is an amazing woman who likes to make sure that all of us have a better row to hoe when it comes to our jobs as women in STEM, and she inspires me every day. I think there's a number of adults in this room that would say the same thing.
How did you know you wanted to do what you want to do when you grew up?
I'm sorry, say it again.
How did you know what you wanted to do? How did you get started knowing oh, I want to do this? How do I
Yeah,
do that?
yeah. I just didn't know. I didn't know. I knew that I liked to go to the library. I like stories. I like storytelling, and that's really what marketing is. So it was not very purposeful. It was more, I figured it out along the way. There was no one day where I said, that's it. So I think being curious and keeping your doors open is going to be an important thing for you to do.
At what age did you start to know that this is what you wanted to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was a lot older than you guys. I was probably about 23 or 24. So when I was in high school, I didn't even know what college I wanted to go to. And I ended up, I'm dyslexic, so how many people here know what dyslexia is or have struggled with it? Yeah. So I'm a really bad test taker, and it's something that I've just always kind of struggled with is test taking. And so I didn't do as well on my SATs as I wanted to, even though I had taken a number of AP classes saying I'd do okay in college. And so when I applied to school, I just applied to all these colleges that I knew I could get into, and my dad said, wow, wouldn't it have been great if one of those colleges that you didn't think you could get into would have said yes, and you would have, you slammed the door shut on yourself. And so I got into my first year of college, and I realized because of my dyslexia, I'm a very good studier, and that is half the battle in college. College students here, how many of you think that studying is half the battle? I mean, it's not really how smart you are, it's really how much you can study. So I ended up doing really, really well, and I had the opportunity to transfer. And when I got to Notre Dame, this is probably one of my favorite stories. I got to Notre Dame, and there was a class I was taking that was taught by a gentleman who was from a professor who was from Belfast, Ireland. How many people know what an Irish brogue is, or a Scottish brogue? I will put forward today that it is almost a foreign language. And so I was sitting in a class almost this size, and he started talking, and I had no idea what he was saying. None. I was looking at the person next to me. Here I had been a pretty smart person in school, one of the people that like to sit up front. And when you have no idea what the guy's saying and you're sitting up front, it's a little intimidating. And so I immediately said, and people say, oh, Kate, no, of course you weren't. No, of course you weren't. I looked around the room, and I said, I am probably the least smart person in this room. I felt it for the first time in my life, and I felt it very strongly. And I looked around the room, and I said, these people are so smart. And then I said, my goodness, if I am the lowest in this barrel, at least I'm in this barrel. How cool is that, to not be the smartest person in the room and to strive and to work hard? So I worked extremely hard. Somebody asked a question about working hard in college. I worked so hard in college, and I ended up getting a really good GPA, but it wasn't because I was the smartest person in the room. It was because I was excited about what I was doing, and I was so thankful to be the apple in that barrel. I was so excited to have gotten into that smart barrel. So, that's another thing. If you are in school and you say, gosh, this might not be the right college for me, I don't want to encourage you to transfer out of MTSU, of course, but just in case you're at another college and you realize I need to go to MTSU, transferring is a real good life choice, and it really helped me out.
All right, I would like to have Miss Leah come up and Emma, come on up here, give you a nice thank you gift.